He sees you in public, sees you at the grocery store. He's like, hey, man, I want to get jacked too. What should I do?
Hey, man, you want to buy some steroids?
Yeah, hell yeah. Most overrated, underrated exercise.
Oh, geez. Okay. Easy. Oh, this is easy. Overrated. Back squat.
I knew you were going to say that.
Barbell back squat. And not just because I fucking suck at them.
Yeah, I'm Shane Clow. I run Stronghold Muscle coaching service. Find me on Instagram. I started out like a super fat, overweight individual. Like 5, 6 years ago, I was, upwards of like 340 pounds. And that's kind of when I got into like the dieting fitness space and lost over 130 pounds in a year. And then really kind of just like dove headfirst into weightlifting. I trained in high school, but took a really long break after high school. And then I just started buying stuff on Marketplace and kind of just building a home gym. And started with like a barbell and 245-pound plates. And that's what I had for, probably 6 months. And I just went outside and like bench pressed and do power cleans every day. And just kind of developed from there. At this point, I've been competing in strongman for about 3 years. Worked up to a 715-pound deadlift, 365-pound overhead press. Just did 6 plates on squat, which isn't super impressive, but I haven't put a whole lot of work into squatting.
Yeah, no big deal, dude. Just 6 plates. It's whatever. And by the way, guys, he's not talking about like 6 cumulative plates. He means 12 plates.
Yeah. 3 on each side. That's how you do it, right? But yeah, I'm just like a fitness strength enthusiast, home gym enthusiast, strongman enthusiast. I think just like lifting heavy stuff is badass.
Right on, man. Yeah, and you are the home gym guy, dude. Like most of your clients are, they're busy guys. They work out at home. They have limited time, and so you're definitely a specialist. I think when it comes to like, time and space and money efficiency as far as like equipment selection and workouts and stuff like that goes. And you're a testament to the fact that you don't need to be in a big crazy commercial gym to get in crazy good shape with the lifts and so that you're doing and the muscular size that you're at.
Yeah, I made a post about this the other day, but like if you look at my content, like I have like a pretty well equipped gym at this point. It's kind of like a hobby now to like kind of collect gym equipment. I think it's kind of cool, grip stuff, strongman stuff, whatever. Like I have a lot of shit now. It wasn't always like that. Like you don't need all this stuff. Like I have a client right now who has 2 sandbags. That's his whole fucking gym. He has a 100-pound sandbag and a 150-pound sandbag. You don't need fancy shit, right? Like you really don't. If you have, a handful of dumbbells, a barbell, a rack, some sandbags, like you can make it work and you can get jacked. You really can.
But yeah, man, I'm glad that we're doing this again. I think we should make it a regular thing because we're both extremely handsome and extremely intelligent. And frankly, like the world just deserves to hear us talk.
Yeah. And super humble too.
Yeah. That's our greatest trait. So I've got the Peach Zen 3s. This is what I'm rocking today.
So I'm typically rocking Grizzly 12s.
Oh, 12s?
Yeah, hell yeah, dude.
Jesus Christ.
I got these Rogue Blueberry 15s.
Fuck. Everyone likes the Rogues.
It's the first time trying them for me, and it's okay. I wish they were filled more.
Fuck.
Like there's not like enough powder in the little pouch.
Yeah, it's like when your balls when you don't take HCG.
That's exactly what it's like.
Yeah. Dude, I can only handle the 3s. I've tried to go up to the 6s, and it's weird because I'm immune to a lot of stimulants, dude. Like, I can fucking house some caffeine. I can take Adderall at high doses, all that shit. But something about nicotine, if I do more than 3, I feel like ass.
Yeah, there's definitely certain times, like, if I, like, throw in 2 15s and I already have, like, a bunch of caffeine and stuff like that, like, you get, like, like the overstimulated, like, tired feeling.
Oh, yeah.
And then you like just can't be productive because you're like yawning the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that happens to me.
Kind of like an ADHD thing, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, being overstimulated sucks. So we have Sonder. Sonder's releasing. If you guys don't know what Sonder is my focus and productivity drink that me and Dan Co are releasing here in August. Well, anyways, went through a pretty lengthy R&D with it, and I'm concerned it's going to be too strong
What are
because
some of the heavy hitters in it?
well, the real big heavy hitter is the yohimbine, but it's only 1 milligram of rauwolsine, which is like the active ingredient. The other ones, like there's some EGCG, there's a little bit of caffeine, but there's just a lot of stuff, like a lot of different nootropics and stuff, and they're all kind of synergistic. And so when our chemist designed this thing, it wasn't just like, all these different ingredients that are good on their own. It's all these ingredients that when you combine them, they have this like a 1+1=3 effect. And it's a lot, and it's really good for focus, and it's like, it'll definitely make you productive. But what I noticed was, like, particularly with the yohimbine, is that it's so stimulating, and it turns on your like sympathetic nervous drive so much that I lose all fine motor skills. Right. So, like, one of the things that people talk about with like shooting, for instance, is like, okay, in combat, you have to rely on, quote, gross motor skills because you aren't going to have like fine dexterity because of the adrenaline. Well, I took this stuff and then I was like, I wonder how my shooting would be. Well, I went to go do my dry fire and I like could not fucking grab my gun. It was like my hands were like just like I couldn't have control of my hands, dude. It was like they were fucking 5 times their size, and like, I just like could not fucking draw, couldn't reload. It was a nightmare. So
I noticed that with like text, like typing on the keyboard.
If you're super stimulated, yeah, you lose that fine motor skill. Yeah, so we're gonna release it, and then based on feedback, if we have to tone it down a little bit, we'll probably just take the yohimbine out.
Yeah,
and the yohimbine is actually the main reason we can't export it out of the U.S. and Canada. So we were thinking about doing an international version anyways, and I think the only difference is we would just take the yohimbine out, which I kind of want to do anyways. So
I take a caffeine pill called, I don't know, it's made by the same people that make Edge of Insanity, like the psychopharma people.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember what the caffeine pill is called, but it has like a good amount of caffeine for a pill, 175 or something like that. But then it has like 2 milligrams, I think, of yohimbine, and then 2 of like the alpha yohimbine or whatever.
Yeah, I think that's the rauwolsine. There's like 2 different components of the yohimbine.
Yeah, so it has both in it. And if I know you're used to taking it, but like for the audience, if they're not, like if you've never tried yohimbine, like it's a heavy hitter. Like it hits you hard. It smacks you right in the mouth. It's great for like fasted cardio though.
It also has like some direct fat burning effects.
Yeah, that's why it's great for like pre-cardio, but it does kind of make you feel like crap sometimes.
Kind of like legal clenbuterol or something.
It has like really similar effects. Like you have like those like cold sweats almost.
Yeah, like that sympathetic nervous drive, that beta 1. It just, I don't like that feeling, dude. I don't like that. I don't like the cracked out energy. I like the focused energy.
Yeah, it seems like, after a while you do build a tolerance to it just like you would any other like stimulant, and maybe you're still getting some of the effects, but not like the weird like feel like crap effects. But yeah, I really like the pre-workout I use is like loaded with it.
Yeah, I know that I think doesn't More Plates More Dates, his brand, don't they have one with a bunch of yohimbine in it?
They probably do. Yeah.
Yeah. My pre-workout lately is just L-citrulline and taurine and beetroot powder.
You just mix it, like you just buy the raw powder and mix it?
Yeah, I just buy all the raws and I just mix it in a shaker cup and I just drink that like an hour before I go train. And then I have like a bunch of pre-workout carbs, which right now is like basically 3 cups of cocoa pebbles.
You don't
and I just
like
fucking eat that.
Burp up like the beetroot the whole time?
No, I haven't really noticed that. Not too much. Maybe it does give me a little bit of burps, but no, I've gotten pretty used to it. And beetroot, I think, is one of those things that's kind of more like long acting. Like you take it, over days and days. So even on days that I don't train, I try to take it. And it's also just good for vasodilation for blood pressure, because if I'm drinking caffeine or taking my Adderall on days that I'm not working out, I'm still getting that vasoconstriction, and so I'm trying to keep my blood pressure good and stuff like that. And so anything that is vasodilating seems to be good for my my systolic pressure.
When I used to be like trad based and like eating like off a cutting board stuff, which obviously that wasn't true, but I tried, like I bought like a kilogram of that like raw beetroot powder, and I tried it like twice, and I just like couldn't do it. It tastes so bad.
Well, my biggest thing with it is it fucking gets everywhere. Like, okay, you buy the bulk supplements brand of bags.
Yeah.
And I was doing that for a while. I was like, I'm just going to buy bulk supplements. That way I can dose it however I want. And I don't have to take all these like gelatin capsules, because maybe, I mean, I take so many pills that I'm like, now I'm thinking about like, man, what's the effect of taking all these fucking like the capsule itself?
Yeah.
But it's such a pain in the ass, because I scoop the beetroot powder and it's like so effervescent that it fucking gets everywhere. And then I'm spilling it on the counter and my counter's fucking stained red. and it's just like, fuck this. And my teeth are getting stained red. And so I'm like, dude, screw this. I'm just buying everything in pills.
When you get your blood work done and your like liver enzymes are all jacked up, it's like, dude, it's probably all those fucking capsules I'm taking. It's not the Anavar, it's not none of that stuff.
It's not the Anavar, it's the capsule the Anavar is in, right?
Yeah,
it's not the Anadrol, it's the Guaiacol.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Yeah. Oh man, I have a funny story about Guaiacol. So the people that don't know about, injectable anabolics that people would take like pre-workout that have no ester in them. So everybody knows about testosterone, they know about trenbolone and all those things. Well, powerlifters before a meet will take a version of those drugs that's not time release. It's like instant release. And obviously you know this, but some people watching might not know. And it basically hits you right away, right before a powerlifting competition. Well, it's suspended typically in this stuff called Guaiacol, which is like it's a very toxic kind of like carrier substance and has a very distinct like formaldehyde smell. And if somebody uses it, I mean, even if you have a vial of it, you can smell it in like a 20-foot radius. And I remember I held this powerlifting meet at my gym, and these guys are getting ready for their lifts. And they went into the bathroom together, and they both took their backpacks in. And I was like, oh, I know what these fuckers are doing. And they walked out, and I could just fucking smell it, dude. And they walked out, and like I had my little desk right there, and I looked at them, and they looked at me, and I was just like, hey, man, just don't throw needles in my trash can, please. That's all I said. And they were like, oh, okay, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
It was funny, man.
That's a big problem. Like at meets, strongman competitions, powerlifting meets, just like people just leave needles just like all over the place.
Like it's a fucking heroin addict rehab place or something.
Crazy. Yeah, be porta potty, just look down, there's just like
syringes full of fucking Anadrol.
Yeah.
Jeez. Cool, man. Well, yeah, let's jump into it, dude. Like, what are some of the topics you have for us?
Yeah, I have a few things written down. Kind of a fun one. What's like the craziest diet you've ever done?
Craziest diet that I've ever done, dude. Vegan.
Really?
I would say vegan. Yeah.
Wow. How long did you? Yeah,
I tried. So when I met my ex. Mm-hmm. She was vegan, and she was a vegan, bikini competitor. And I was just interested in it. Like, I just, wanted to try it out. I didn't really have a dog in the fight. I think a lot of people, maybe there was a moral component a little bit to it because I was into, like, animal rescue and stuff like that at the time. And it wasn't really a super moral thing or a super health thing. It was just something I wanted to try. Because I'm like, well, it's the concept of like, hey, you can like eat no animal products and still be super fit was really interesting to me. And I'd seen, vegan bodybuilders out there. I was like, how the hell does that work? So I was like, I'll give it a shot. So for 4 weeks, I think it was it was probably more like 8 weeks, I did full on vegan, dude. And I even hired a vegan fitness coach, and I had to make me a diet. It was a lot of peanut butter, a lot of rice, a lot of lentils. And it was horrible, dude. I felt like dog shit. I could not get enough food. Like, no matter how much I ate, I was fucking starving. My strength was in the shitter. Like, I know that carbohydrates are the primary thing that we use for energy, in training. But, dude, my lifts went to crap, dude. I was lifting like 60% of what I could normally do. My endurance was down. Like, I just felt like ass. I wasn't getting sore from my training, but it's because I couldn't fucking train hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I tried it, and then of course, like I had freaking diarrhea all the time, and I'm getting these giant bowls of like rice and lentils because like I was still trying to get like 4,000 calories in, and so I think the vegan thing might work for people who are small. They don't have a super big protein requirement or food requirement, but your guy built like us. I'm 6'5", 250, trying to eat a vegan diet. There's just no way. There's no way. Could not eat enough food, dude.
Do you think there's like a way to do it where it's like doable? Like if you're supplementing?
I don't think there is for big guys.
Okay.
I think there is for like manlets, right? Like if you're not like a big athlete. And then that's another thing I noticed. I was like, well, all these vegan bodybuilders and athletes that I'm looking at, they're all fucking lightweights. Mm-hmm. They're all super light, super short, super small dudes. They're not super strong. Like they look big and they look ripped because it's Instagram and the lighting is good and you can't tell how big someone is.
Yeah.
And so, I was like, well, if they can do it, I can do it. I don't think it works for big guys, man.
Yeah.
But it's funny because like I would look at these guys like, oh, these guys are jacked. And then it's like camera angles, right? Because like I'm big, like I'm a big freaking guy. But if you don't have a point of reference, you don't look that big, right? Like I look massive when I'm next to a normal sized person, but just on camera, if I'm just like out in the field or something, Like you can't really capture that. And so these guys looked big to me, but they weren't. And then I started like looking at closer, and I was like, dude, these guys were like 5'6", and they weighed
Yeah.
like 170.
Yeah. If you had to pick it like between that and like carnivore or like the other extreme, which one?
Carnivore, hands down,
Really?
hands down. You know, I made that post about carnivore the other day, and of course, it got totally misinterpreted, and everyone got super up in arms about it. The carnivore freaks come out of the woodwork.
Yeah.
I have clients that are doing the carnivore diet, and they're doing great on it. But it's a special case, right? It's like the right tool for the right job. But I know people that do great on carnivore, and probably more do great on carnivore than do good on vegan for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems like both camps, it's like it just gets so wrapped up into your identity. And like if
That's
you
what
want
it is.
something to work bad enough, like you probably will get it to work, at some point.
Well, my argument was that if you want to be as big, as strong as possible, and as fast as possible, and have the highest work capacity possible, then it's not a good diet. And I never said you can't be healthy on it. I never said you can't perform on it. I just said you're not going to reach your potential on it. And of course, all the comments were like, well, I do carnivore and I'm working out and I'm lean. And it's like, that's not what I said.
Yeah.
I said, like, if you want to literally be a freak athlete, you can't do carnivore. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
I wasn't saying like it makes it so that you can't train. And these guys were like, well, I'm the strongest I've ever been and I'm on carnivore. And it's like, well, like, yeah, but you'd be stronger if you weren't. Right? So, of course, everybody just takes everything out of context, and there's no fucking nuance when it comes to people on the internet.
No, not at all. Everything's like, light switch brain. I seen a post the other day. I don't remember who made it, but it was talking about like the peak of carnivore, which was like a couple years ago, when you had like the explosion of like the Paul Saldino and
Liver
Dr. Sean Baker and Liver King and, all those guys. And you look at like all of them now, and they were like all the big carnivore names, like the big carnivore fitness names, they're like all eating carbs. Like they call themselves like animal based. And then you look at their diet and it's like fruit and potatoes. And it's like, yeah, but you're not eating carnivore anymore.
Well, and that's the funniest thing about the carnivore diet, and that's the critique I've always had, was it started out as like, we are literally carnivores, we eat nothing but meat. And then it was like, well, what if you had some fruit in there because it's like natural? What if you had some berries in there because that's like natural, so it's like still kind of carnivore? And then it's like, well, what if you added a little bit of like potato because those coming from the ground? We're like, okay, so you're just eating a fucking paleo diet, dude.
Right.
And then the next step is you just eat a little bit of rice, and it's like, oh, so you're just eating a normal diet.
Right.
But everybody likes these extremes, these camps. And so I think the red flag is just anytime something is like a drastic depart from the norm like that, where it's like everything will change when you just do this one, like anything like that is a gimmick, dude. I think that like for the most part, yeah, these little changes here and there, like that doesn't raise a red flag for me. But anytime that somebody's like, it's this one thing that's causing everything, like what people on Twitter do, the Twitter fitness circle,
Right.
it's always bullshit.
Yeah. Gimmicks work though. There's like a certain personality that like falls for like cults and stuff like that.
I fell into it with CrossFit, dude. CrossFit and paleo.
Mm-hmm.
CrossFit and paleo, man. I remember trying to do the paleo diet at 6'5", 200 something pounds.
Right.
And I was like wondering why I was not fucking gaining muscle and getting hurt all the time, and my energy sucked. But I was like so bought in to the logic behind it.
Right.
Same thing with like the functional fitness meme, all that stuff, dude. Yeah. I definitely fell for that stuff, man, because especially if it's presented to you in a logical way, you're like, oh, fuck, well, that makes sense, right? Like, but in practice, it's not always like that.
Yeah.
What about you? What's the craziest diet you've done?
Well, I did the sugar diet for like a really long time, like the Mark Bell.
Yeah, I remember that.
So I did that for like a year, and
Really?
I actually really liked it. The issue is I kept getting thrush, like the fungal infect, like what I'm talking about, like in your mouth.
Yep.
And I guess like the theory is like I'm just eating obviously just sugar, and it was just like feeding like the bad bacteria. But other than that, like I loved it. It was like I could stay super, super lean, and workouts felt phenomenal because I was just like hammering a ton of carbs. Basically, what I was doing is like my diet throughout the entire day was anything that was just sugar, right? So it was mostly fruit juice, jams, jellies, frozen fruit, canned fruit, stuff like that. I would typically just make like a really big blender smoothie and just like break that up into 3 meals. And then for dinner, I would have like a normal dinner. It would be like, some sort of lean protein and like a starchy carb, potatoes or rice or something like that. And I really liked it. You know, it was cool because I could stay really, really lean, and then dinner time I could just like gorge myself with whatever my wife made for dinner,
You get your
which
protein requirement.
was cool because, you know, like I got to sit down and just eat a good home cooked meal and not have to worry about like measuring stuff, and I could just eat like as much as I wanted. I could have 3 servings of like lasagna, you know, or whatever it is she made, and stay super lean doing it. You know, and I would have like dessert every single night after dinner. So it was cool. Like I enjoyed that aspect of it. But every time I would get like any type of like sickness, like a cold or anything like that, I would just get thrush like really, really bad. So yeah, another diet I did, I ate only ground beef and cottage cheese for 30 days straight.
Damn, how'd that go?
It sucked. Yeah, that really sucked. I mean, it was like what you'd expect. Like the first like 2 weeks, I dropped like 15 pounds,
Hmm.
and then after that, it was like my digestion was just like fucked the entire time. You know, it just like never caught up. Um, yeah, I mean, it was like I enjoy eating those things, but yeah, obviously, it was just for like I knew it was going to be like a 30-day thing. I didn't think like, oh, this is going to be like my long-term plan. It was just like,
Hmm.
no, let's just try this and see like what happens. And yeah, wouldn't recommend.
I think the reason that diets that are 100% carb or 100% fat, or fat and protein, but
Hmm.
basically all fat, I think that they work so well to get people lean because those things are basically competing for the ability to be metabolized or oxidized.
Right.
That's why the classic bodybuilding bro science, which oftentimes is vindicated by real science, is hey, don't eat carbs and fat in the same meal,
Hmm.
like have one or the other. And I think there is something to that. And so that's why I think those diets, when you're just carbs or just fats, I think that's why they do so well, is because your body only has to metabolize one thing, right? So then if it's using the carbs, like it's in carb burning mode, then it's going to store the fat or vice versa, right? And that's why, okay, and then we know that's true because things like L-carnitine and what's the not cartitone, what's the fucking SARM that guys use for cardio?
Carterine.
Cardarine. Okay,
Yeah.
cardarine combined with L-carnitine puts your body in like a super fat oxidizing state, and it basically shifts your metabolism to metabolizing fat only or something like that. So yeah, I think there is definitely something to like your metabolism like only working with one at a time, or I don't know the fucking science behind it, but I think that concept is real.
Yeah, I think that's why carb cycling works so well. You know, I've been using that a lot with some of my clients. Clayton, you know, bodybuilder, been doing carb cycling with him. And when we started in December, he was eating like super low calories, like, you know, 2,200 or 24. It was super, super low. And like we got him considerably leaner by increasing his calories just by carb cycling. Like it was,
Hmm.
you know, 2 months later, he was eating 3,400 calories. And just by carb cycling, you know, like breaking up the fat and the carbs, like you're saying, like
Yeah.
significantly leaner and more muscle.
I love that because I think that's something that people don't pay a lot of attention to is they don't pay attention to the metabolism. I have a lot of guys that come to me eating a really low calorie diet, and then we basically crank the metabolism up by giving them more carbs and more activity. What ends up happening is because we're preserving that lean muscle mass, or maybe even in some cases building it, we're able to get them to a point where now they are maintaining with a way higher calorie amount than what they were maintaining with before.
Hmm.
Like that guy Kyle that I trained, I think he was like, whatever, like maybe 220 pounds, and he was probably 25% body fat, right? Well, we got him down to like, well, now he's like 170 and he's fucking shredded,
Hmm.
but he's eating like probably 1,500 calories more than when he came to me, and it's just keeping him lean. And because his metabolism is so efficient now when we give him carbs, it goes straight to fucking energy.
Hmm.
Like he'll send me pictures, like he's like, "Oh, I just ate like my big carb meal," and his fucking veins are like a roadmap.
Yeah.
Like it's like, well, now those carbs are being used for the right thing, and I think that's something people just don't pay a lot of attention to is training the metabolism, and it is such a hack, dude. It's
Yeah.
such a hack because look, if you can eat way more calories, obviously your training is going to be better. And if you can eat that amount of calories and not gain body fat, dude, that's the dream, right?
Hmm.
That's what everybody wants is to be able to eat a shit ton of food and just be big and fucking strong and shredded. And that is how you do it. And it took me a long time to figure that out because I was still in this whole like calories in, calories out. It's just a fucking just punch it into your TDE calculator. It doesn't
Right.
fucking work that way.
No. Yeah. Like, how can you explain, like, you know, a client check in the day after a high day and he's lost 2 pounds and he looks fucking shredded as hell? Like he ate 900 grams of carbs yesterday, and he looks leaner than he did yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think, okay, yes, calories in and calories out. Yes, thermodynamics or whatever the fuck, right? But there's so much that's happening inside of your body that you have no idea what the out portion looks like, right? So it's essentially a useless calculation. Like it gives you a ballpark, but there are so many factors that come into play that it's just obviously not how it works, dude.
Yeah, I mean, how many 280-pound guys have you talked to who are eating 2,200 calories and not losing weight? A
A,
fucking lot of them.
a lot of them, dude. And people would say, "Well, they're miscalculating. They're cheating." No, they're not, dude. Like I've had guys send me every single fucking thing they put in their mouth, and they're legitimately eating like 2,000 calories and not losing fat because your metabolic rate is lower. And we know this is true because, like, okay, if I were to take a bunch of T3, the same amount of calories would make me lose weight because I'm on all this T3, so my metabolism is through the roof. So obviously, your metabolism can be heavily manipulated.
Right.
Right. So yeah, just people are fucking dumb, dude. And that's look again. That's why you should hire a coach because the vast majority of people don't know this stuff, and all those little things that seem like small nuances make a night and day difference. It's just not that simple. Like I don't know why our culture is like this, but we seem to have this idea that like if my truck engine breaks, I need to take it to mechanic. There are people who are good at fixing their cars. The vast majority of us can do the basics, right? But we can't really like do the big work. So we take our car to a mechanic. Nobody thinks twice about that. But then for some reason, when it comes to your body, which is arguably more complex, people are like, well, I can just get, as fit and strong and big and lean as I want to be and just kind of like just go to the gym and do stuff. But like, I don't try to fix my truck by just like, I'm just going to have a wrench and just start fucking cranking on things in the car. Like that's not going to fix the car. So it's just this weird cultural thing, man. Like if it was as simple as people make it out to be, our jobs would not exist.
Yeah.
Right. Like, you go into a college weight room and it'd be like, all right, yeah, just do whatever you feel like until you're tired. And that would produce freak athletes. And we know that it doesn't.
Yeah, I wonder if like an aspect of because it's so much more complex, you have like even more of like the Dunning-Kruger effect where like you learn just a little bit about it. You see like 3 Instagram reels about how to lift weights or whatever, and then you think like you understand so much more than you actually do. Whereas like a car too, like there's so much free information out there. Like there's a video on how to change your transmission, right? Yeah, it's a 45-minute long video. You could easily watch that and try to do it yourself. Nobody's doing that, right? But like with your body, I don't know, there's just like so much information just gets like flooded to your algorithm. Like you follow one Instagram account that's like about lifting, and then now your whole algorithm is just like flooding you with information. It just seems like, oh, it's just like I could do that. Like it's no problem at all.
Yeah, and it is frustrating as a coach because what I do is so in depth and so one on one. I know that it's the same way with you. Like when you watch somebody lift, you're not just like, okay, how many reps and sets did you do? You're like, what's the bar speed look like? What's the technique look like? What are the muscles that are involved? What is what's the lagging muscle group here? And there's all these progression methodologies. There's so many things to it that make a huge freaking difference. Like most people don't think about bar speed, right? But like there are entire training cycles that I've done where the load and everything was literally determined by how fast the weight was moving. And nobody ever thinks about that. Everyone's just so wrapped up in the things that they think are important, which they think it's like the reps and the sets. And that's why I laugh when I see these YouTube videos like ideal rep range for hypertrophy and this and that. And it's like all that stuff is like below what I always talk about, which is just progressive overload, right? Like we have to ask our body to do something new to get a new result. And so all these things like how many reps, how many sets, like what's the rest time, what's the frequency for hypertrophy, all these studies and this and that. You're basically just figuring out how do we facilitate progressive overload. So it's not necessarily that the reps and the sets and the frequency and the volume is what's producing the effect. It's like, how do those things allow us to do more next time than we did last time? And that was the big shift for me, was this concept that like, oh, your body's just going to adapt to what you're asking it to do. And so if you want it to look new, look different, you have to ask it to do something different that it hasn't done before. And that was such a light bulb moment for me that changed everything. And I think most people just never put 2 and 2 together like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I 100% agree. That's why it's so frustrating. Like when you have a client who like refuses to like film themselves and send you like, it's like, man, it's like what I have on paper, like it's part of the puzzle, but I got to see something. Like I got to see like you doing the lift. Like it's so much more. Like a picture's worth 1,000 words. Like a video of you doing the lift is like that's the picture, right? That's what I need. It tells me so much more than like the 3x8 at 225 that you wrote down. Like that tells me nothing.
And most people don't even get that far.
Yeah, I
Like
know.
most people, you ask about their training, and they're like, "I go heavy. I do a heavy one. And I do a light one."
Yeah.
What the fuck does that mean, dude?
Yeah.
Oh, I train heavy. I like to train heavy, and that's my strategy. Like, dude, what?
Yeah. I do a 3-day split.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Oh, I'm glad. Yeah, because if you split it up over 4 days, it would be a totally different ballgame. Like people,
Yeah.
it blows my mind that people think that it's that simple, and it is that simple until you get to the intermediate stage, right? Because when you have a new athlete, they could fucking do anything, and they would get in better shape. If you've never squatted before, and your only exposure to squatting is standing up off the toilet, well, now if you stand off the toilet with a 45-pound bar on your back, you get fitter. But where do you go from there? Well, now you have to put 5s on there and then 10s on there. But eventually you can't put any more weight on there. Well, now what do you do to get bigger? Now you're at that intermediate stage where now we have to get a little bit more granular.
I really like listening to a lot of the content that like bodybuilders put out, like the really big, like open guys. Because you listen to like how they think about the weight and what they think about like as far as the form and technique and the muscle, the tension and stuff like that. And it's really cool. Like some of these guys, like they're enormous individuals. They have like a retarded amount of muscle mass. They're like, yeah, I've never shoulder pressed any more than like 25-pound dumbbells. It's like, that's fucking crazy. But it's like,
okay. Sorry, go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
Well, what I was going to say was that I think those are actually the worst people to take advice from. And here's why. Obviously, one, because with steroids, because that's giving us another pathway that's giving you another pathway for anabolism, right? That most people, if you're not on steroids, you don't have that. So, like, yes, if you have a better hormonal environment, you're going to have another way for growth to happen. That's not necessarily progressive overload. But also, a lot of those guys are genetic freaks that they look at a weight and they get bigger and they get stronger. And so they've never had to get more specific about it. So they've never actually had to think about progressive overload and that kind of stuff. And that's why a lot of those guys are like, oh, that's all BS. So you just have to like feel the muscle working and the tension and blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, that's because that's what works for you. But I bet even with those guys, if they'd focus more on progressive overload, maybe they'd be even bigger. But for the vast majority of us that have normal genetics, we have to be more intentional with what we do, right? Like, dude, I don't know. Michael Jordan or something probably could have like gotten zero official training and still been better than 99% of people, but that most people just aren't gifted in that way.
Yeah.
And so you would ask him, well, how do you get better at basketball? And he'd be like, I don't know. What do you mean? You just look at the hoop and you throw the ball, right? So when you're looking for a coach or you're looking for advice, don't look at the person that's the biggest bodybuilder. I think that's the wrong way to go about it. Look for the person that's helped the most amount of people because they have a broader picture of all the different like things that all the different problems all these people have had, and they've gotten over those humps for other people. But you've only had to get over your humps,
Right.
I mean, I
That's
remember when
true.
I used to train with Evan Rutledge, amazing freak athlete. But he's like a human meatball. He's like, he's a shorter guy, and all of his movements are like his back squat, perfect textbook back squat. And I remember him saying one day, I'll never forget this. He was like, I just don't understand how guys can't figure out how to squat. And I'm like, yeah, that's because you're built perfectly for the squat. Like for me, it's such a complex movement. There's so many like weird things like with my body type. So anyways.
No, you're right. Like people who are like deadlift specialists, like lift specialists, like they probably don't put a whole lot of thought into their technique. Like you look at guys who are like deadlift specialists, right? They have the real lanky build, real short torso. And it's like that guy hasn't had to like overcome like years of like lower back pain to like maybe deadlift 405. It's like he like looked at a bar and he could pull 6 plates.
Yeah.
And there's like a lot of people like that.
Yeah. It is just natural though to look at someone who's successful and be like, oh, well, they're successful. So then I'm going to follow them for advice on how to be successful in that way too. And I don't think it works that way with fitness. It just doesn't because you're completely different. It would be like if we had different businesses and I was like, well, that's a successful businessman. He's made millions of dollars, but my business is totally different. Like his strategies aren't going to work the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's that way with shooting. I see it in the shooting world all the time. There's guys who are just talented fucking shooters and they're just freaks, man. And they've never, and not saying they don't work hard. Not saying they don't work hard. And those guys, if they actually pay attention to what they're doing and they have the genetics and the intentionality, damn, they're going to go fucking far, dude.
Yeah.
If you like NBA player, not only do you have to have the skills and the work ethic, you also have to be 6'7", and you have to have all these factors in play. Whereas most of us only have one or two of those factors. So
Yeah. I think it's really cool to see somebody who is like just putting everything they have into like whatever sport that it is that they love. And if it's powerlifting or strongman or bodybuilding or whatever it is, who's not like a genetic freak. It's cool to see like somebody just like because it's like pure passion that got them to like whatever level they're at. Like they'll get to like a high-ish level just out of the hard work they put in, and I think that's really cool.
I mean, not to toot my own horn, but I feel that way about myself. Like I posted my genetic testing results the other day, and I showed myself like flexing, and then I saw the genetic test result, and it was like ability to build muscle mass low, ability for strength low, but it's like look where I've gotten, right? And I'm not top 10 in the world, but you know, all things being equal genetically, I'm way ahead of where you would ever have expected me to be able to get to. And people responded to that story post, and they were like, "Yeah, like this is proof that." You know, genetics don't matter. And I'm like, no, 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 that's not what I'm saying. Like, this is proof that genetics matter a lot, right? But you have to like figure out how to make it work for you and get to your ceiling. Because my ceiling is not going to be the same as somebody else's, and so you can't really compare yourself to other people.
Yeah. Yeah. Some people also get stuck in like, oh, I have shitty genetics. I'm just never going to be good.
Yeah, and they're probably right, but they can be a lot better than where they are.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the internet has caused physique inflation, right, or strength inflation, right? Because like what used to be considered a really good physique is now considered not, because now you're exposed to all this like top 0.1% genetic elite. And so, you know, all the time I see on Twitter, like, hey guys, do you think that this is achievable? Is this physique achievable naturally? And people are like, yeah, because look at this guy and this guy and this guy. And it's like, well, it's achievable for him naturally, but why is that? That can't be the standard for the general population, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that people just have to manage their expectations, and you can get a lot further than where you're at, but your ceiling is going to be different than somebody else's, and that's just how it is. Like, I don't care how many science classes and math classes I take, I'll never be Einstein. You know?
Kind of related. What advice would you give to somebody who's like a straight up beginner, like never trained, never worked out before? Like elevator pitch, you have like 2 minutes to talk to somebody. He sees you in public, sees you at the grocery store. He's like, hey man, I want to get jacked too. What should I do?
Hey man, you want to buy some steroids?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Oh, elevator pitch, man. Yeah, again, a progressive overload. I would just say, like, pick exercises where you can feel it working where you want it to feel. Don't go based on what other people are doing, right? It's going to be different for everybody. And focus on those and make sure that you do more every time, or you try to do more every time. And when you can't, you figure out why, and then you fix that problem and you stick with those lifts. Because so many people get stuck on one thing and then they just completely switch up the program and go to something else. And then they're like, oh, I started making progress. So you want to switch to this thing. It's like, yeah, because it's a new thing.
Right.
So I would say turn off all the social media and just progressive overload, dude. Do 1 more rep or 5 more pounds as often as possible, and track what you're doing, and don't try to just remember it off the top of your head.
Yeah.
What about you?
I would say something very similar. Like, go pick like 3 exercises that you like and just go do those as often as possible. And you're going to get so much better at those 3 exercises for like a long time, like at least a year probably. If you did nothing else except for those 3 exercises, you would probably keep getting better at them for a long time. And just find something you really, really like really enjoy, and just find a way to fall in love with training. Because like what happens later, years down the line, like the most important thing is you like doing it, like you enjoy it. So just like find that first.
I think it's so true. I don't think there's anybody that's at a high level at any sport or any endeavor in life that doesn't just love doing it. Because all the time people are like discipline, 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 and maybe discipline gets you through some times of demotivation. But I was talking about, my buddy Anthony on a podcast the other day. We're like, you can't white knuckle your way through life. You have to love the thing. You have to learn to love it, just like you're saying. And if you don't enjoy doing it, you're not going to make it to that high level. There isn't a single person who's an Olympian that doesn't just love their freaking sport, dude. And maybe there's times you fall out of love with it, and that's when discipline comes into play. But yeah, I would say that you have to love it. Like people probably ask you, how do you stay so disciplined with having kids and, still training? It's like, because training for you is the same as somebody else sitting on the toilet for 20 minutes scrolling on Instagram. They just fucking love doing it. And that's why you're successful at it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not a chore at all. It's like, this is something I love to do. I would find time to do it. A lot of times I'm in there at the gym, at midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. Like I didn't get to do it that day because I was busy with doing other stuff. It's like, but it's still something I love to do. It's something I'm going to find time to do. It's never me like having to drag myself to go do it. If that's you, like you need to figure out why. You need to figure that part out first. Find a way to like fall in love with training, fitness, whatever it is. Like if you want to get in shape, jacked, whatever, it doesn't have to be lifting weights either. Like if you want to get jacked, like yeah, it's going to have to be lifting weights. But if you want to get better at running or cycling or something just to get in shape, whatever, just like find something that you love to do. You're not going to struggle to do it if you love to do it.
Totally agree. Yeah, that's true. It's probably better that you do something you enjoy that's less like optimal than something that is perfect that you absolutely hate doing. And that's a big part of the training split too. Is like what kind of training
100%.
split is fun for you. And yeah, I agree. What made you fall in love with training? Why do you do it?
I don't know, like lifting heavy shit's just really cool. I don't know. Yeah, I just really love it. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just like the maybe the aggression that you get to put out, like the energy that you get to put out. We don't like get to like go to war anymore. So I
Yeah.
just like you
I'm in
gotta.
the gym fighting I'm in the gym fighting the Iranians
Yeah,
in my
obviously it's
mind.
like super lame and cringe to like go to war with the weights, but I don't know. I think maybe there is like an aspect of that, like kind of just
I
like
don't think it's lame at all. I think it's lame to criticize that and call it lame.
yeah, I don't know, but like it would be really cringe for me to be like, I'm gonna beat the weights today and I'm going to war with the weights. Like, everybody
The
that
weights are
sees
my wife.
everybody like kind of like anybody outside of fitness thinks like the guy slamming his head into the bar before squats is lame, right? Everybody like understands that there's a reason he's doing that, but anybody outside of that world like thinks that okay, this is kind of gay. Like, why is this guy doing that? He's just like putting on a show. But I don't know, like most men probably have like, especially if you're like high T, artificially or naturally, like you probably have that in you, like that you need to get out. And if you don't get it out with the weights, maybe it's going to be like the guy who cut you off in traffic or something. I don't know.
Well, I think that we've kind of lost our ability to think abstractly and think about like what really develops people's minds. And I don't really know what I mean by that, but okay, they're like, well, it's not that serious. You're just in the gym lifting weights, but it's an allegory, dude.
Yeah.
Right? It's an allegory, and that's how self development works. And so I don't think it's cheesy at all. I think it's like almost poetic, right? Like it's yeah, just like sports. Like okay, and here's a great critique because I've made this critique myself. Like oh, organized sports are lame. It's like goy ball or whatever. Okay, yeah, maybe to an extent, but it is like an allegory for war, right? And it's like it's a way for us to kind of like I know I like analogies, dude, and I like things that are symbolic, and I think that that's a huge part of humanity. And maybe I just like think a little bit too deeply or poetic about this shit, but no. So when somebody says like or they have that like kind of hardcore mentality, like I'm going to war when I'm with the weights. No, that's good because that is developing your personality and it's going to develop your ability to persevere through other things. That's training, right? Like when we're raising kids, okay, like when you're raising, I'll give you a great example. Your kid wants to quit baseball because like they'd rather be playing video games or something like that, and you're like, no, you can't quit baseball. You got to stick with it. We stick with our commitments and stuff like that. Well, okay, yeah, is Little League baseball that serious? Absolutely not. But
sure.
it's what that's doing to their mental development that is the really important thing. And so I think it's the same thing with the weights because you can then channel that like that mindset into things that you would consider more consequential or important, like war, defending your family, this and that kind of stuff. That's where your personality develops.
Yeah, you're 100% right. There's so much that you get out of athletics in general, whether that's training in the gym or sports or whatever, like the delayed gratification. It takes a long time to get good at something. You got to try really hard, put a lot of effort into it to see like small gains, over time. And that's like an important life lesson to have. It's like in real life, it's not like a mobile game that just like gives you like instant gratification for everything you do. Like real life is hard. Like getting good at business or whatever is hard. It's like you got to apply yourself, and training is the exact same thing, especially for kids. I think it's super, super valuable. I post a lot of content about like training my kids and stuff like that. And there's just like so many comments. And I had one literally like word for word what you just said was, it's not that serious. And it was of a video of my son deadlifting. And the whole caption was like, hey, this isn't about the deadlift at all. Like, this is about like the life lesson of like, yeah, just because you failed like 3 times doesn't mean you stop. Like you keep trying doing hard things. That's what makes you like a man. It makes you a better person. And like, that's the whole caption. And this guy goes, it's not that serious. And I'm like, I reply, what's not that serious? He's like, you're just working out in the gym. It's like, the whole fucking point was, it's not about the gym.
Well, and that's why when I talk to guys about training, I'm like, dude, like the reason I'm so passionate about this stuff and the reason that we're like logging our training and we're doing progressive overload and we're having a mission every time we go in the gym is because how you do one thing is how you do everything else. And that mindset that you have in the gym, as unserious and cheesy as it may be, is going to bleed over into everything else that you do. And that's why I have been successful in business and in life, is because of the traits that I've developed through my training. And so many of my clients have had a very similar experience where they get really strong or they lose a lot of weight, and then, magically they start doing better in their careers. They start businesses, they get into relationships, they leave bad relationships, and that thing becomes a catalyst. And that's exactly what I'm talking about, is it's a metaphor for everything else. And our brain works on metaphors and subconscious things. And so if I'm making forward progress in my training, I'm fucking dedicated to it, I'm trying hard, I'm going to start doing that everywhere else because I'm literally morphing my personality. So that hour training session that you think is cheesy, where I'm slamming my fucking head against the bar, guess what? That's also how I'm approaching business. That's also how I'm approaching my faith and everything in my life. And so I think that training is so fucking important. And so when I talk to guys about fitness and they get on a call and they're like, yeah, I just want to lose a little bit of weight, maybe get a little bit stronger. I'm like, no, motherfucker, like, where do you really want to go in life? And then they're kind of like, whoa, shit, like this is more serious than I thought. And I'm like, this is actually what it's about. Like, this is why I'm so passionate about this shit. Because I was a fucking 170 pound, 6'5" weakling, and I wasn't going anywhere in life. And now I am. And it's because I'm big and jacked and strong. And people have such a hard time like drawing that connection and bridging that gap. But I'm telling you, man, it is life changing, dude. It's not about what it's done for me physically and the looks. I mean, yeah, that's great. But it's more about like what it's done for my personality, my outlook on life. Because if I can get under that fucking heavy ass bar that I think is going to kill me and I'm fucking scared of it and I have to like amp myself up and it's really hard and I work so hard to get there, I'm going to approach that. I'm going to take that same approach with everything I freaking do for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Yeah, the way you view yourself is so important. Like, I mean, looking good is important because that's the way you see yourself. And that's the way you carry yourself. It's given me like a new appreciation for like guys who are like sloppy, out of shape businessmen who are still like super high performer, like go-getters. It's like, I don't know how this guy fucking does it. Like, he's like fucking gut is hanging out and he's still like super successful. Like, you know, he's like has a shirt off at the beach, you know, smoking a cigar. Like, how the fuck?
Yeah, I think that's rare though. Like the guys
Super
that I know
rare.
that are hyper successful are all in really good shape because I think they understand that thing where it's like everything's an allegory for everything else, and how you do one thing is how you do everything. There are a lot of people who are very successful businessmen that are like they do Ironmans and triathlons and stuff, right? Yeah, and I think that people have a hard time comprehending that. But dude, if you can be successful at business, then you can be successful at fitness. If you can be successful at fitness, then you can be successful at business. It's all part of building that personality. And yeah, like, you know, I don't like to call myself a life coach, but I try to get that point across to everybody that I talk to. Like, hey, this is fitness coaching, but this is so much more than fitness coaching, dude. Like it's hard for me to say like, okay, if you get yourself in really good shape, you could become a millionaire, because people are like, what do you mean? But that's exactly how that happens.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I agree.
Yep. By the way, I found the sickest angle for myself, dude.
There you go. You just got to like turn and just
I got to hit the fucking...
keep it flexed.
Yeah, dude. All right, there we go. I'm cramping.
Most overrated, underrated exercise.
Oh, geez. Okay. Easy. Oh, this is easy. Overrated. Back squat.
I knew you were going to say that.
Barbell back squat. And not just because I fucking suck at them.
Yeah. Not because you're
barbell back squat. Barbell back squat. I'm an accomplished back squatter. Okay, how many guys my size can squat as much as I have? But I would say overrated back squat. What about you?
For overrated, man, I don't know. I feel like, you know, every exercise can like be valuable. Probably like elevated deadlifts.
Yeah, like rack pulls.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely makes people feel really strong. But and yeah, everything's a tool, right? Like the rack pull could be great, like if that's maybe your sticking point or something. But if it's just like a part of your program for the sake of it being a part of your program, I think 100%.
Guys who are rack pulling don't have a program. Just fucking rack pull.
Yeah, probably. I used to rack pull all the time, but it was because I could put like 700 pounds on the bar and be like, fuck yeah. And then, Yeah, and then it's like, it'd be funny, like you do block pull, right? And you pull 700 pounds off the block, and you're like, all right, you just take a picture from like the weights up. Like, oh, I just pulled 700, dude.
Yeah. I think everybody goes through that training phase where like, I'll just pull 800 from 18 inches and then every week I'll just lower it an inch. And then you get to like 14 inches and it like just won't fucking leave. It's just glued to the ground.
I used to train at this gym with one of my buddies, and with Keegan actually, and the owner of the gym, great guy, but he was an older guy and he had a lot of injuries, but he was one of these guys that like, he still wanted to keep up with the young bucks. And so he was always doing these like obscure strongman lifts, like Jefferson deadlifts and stuff that you could like do a shit ton of weight on, or like a pin squat to like, just like a 2-inch range of motion because he could just load it up. And he would do it. He'd be like so fucking stoked about how cool it was because all the weight on the bar or whatever.
Yeah.
A lot of people do that.
I think bent over rows are kind of overrated too.
Oh, dude. Yeah, those are, yeah. I mean, a lot of the compound movements are overrated because the limiting factor isn't going to be the muscle that you're trying to train. And that's what I don't like about back squats. For a lot of guys, like I actually just talked to a guy a few minutes ago in the DMs. He's like, well, I really want my legs to get stronger and bigger. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, we're just back squatting. And I'm like, well, like, are your quads the reason that you fail a back squat? Like, usually they're not. So if we're trying to take our quads close to failure, maybe that's not the right movement.
Right. Yeah. All right. Underrated.
Oh, shit. Oh, my gosh, dude. Underrated movements. Dude, that's a tough one. Okay, can I actually just kind of change it a little bit to be a piece of equipment? Smith machine.
Yeah, dude. I agree.
I used to think the Smith machine, you mean the towel rack? But now it's full circle. Now I'm like really big and strong. I'm like, oh, dude, I do like half my fucking workouts on the Smith machine.
Dude, I want to get a Smith machine so bad. There's a company that makes like these roller things that like you can put on your rack to like make it a Smith machine.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. But that would be really cool to have a Smith machine. I really like Smith machines.
Yeah, dude, like they're so versatile. Like you can isolate, man. And I think that's one thing that people don't realize is stability. And that's something that I've come to learn a lot recently. Like, okay, so I used to do barbell rows and I used to do heavy lat pull downs, right? And I'd extend my arms and then I would kind of like rock back a little bit and pull and rock back a little bit and pull. And then I started doing them super crazy strict. Where I'm like here, no moat, just literally just like this. And my lats have never been more sore. Okay, because when I was rocking, I was never training like this couple inches of the lat because it was always being done by the rock. So then only the rest of the lat was being trained. So I think stability and doing things super strict, incredibly underrated. That's why when I have my guys do all their accessory work, I'm like, hey, when you're squatting, deadlifting, bench pressing, fucking have at it, dude. When you're doing assistance isolation stuff, I want to see a huge stretch. I want to see a dead stop. And I want to see you going from a dead stop with zero momentum, even if you have to cut the fucking weight in half.
That's really interesting. Like, because a lot of times in my training, I think about it like almost the opposite. Like, I agree. Like
well, you're wrong. So,
like the skill movements, I want it to be very technical and like a skill practice. And then after the skill movement, when we do our bodybuilding accessories, I'm like, okay, now we go to failure. Like now you take the muscle to failure. But I agree, like the nuance of like making sure like the right muscle is actually doing the work is really important. But it's like, I want you to like kill yourself on the leg extensions. Like,
oh, I agree. I want to take the muscle to failure.
Yeah.
Not the movement to failure. I think we're actually saying the same thing. Like the back squat, it's all about, the efficiency of the movement. It's like, that's the skill. Move the weight from point A to point B. When I'm doing the leg extension, I want to take the muscle to failure. But how can I take that muscle to failure if I'm involving all these other muscles? So I'm not talking about when I'm doing those lat pull downs, I'm going to failure. But failure is failure in the context of strict movement. And then maybe if you do some, maybe after you do all the strict ones, then you can do your partials. And that's its own strategy for sure. But I've noticed the most amount of growth, especially as a lankier guy, from doing everything super, super stretched and strict. Like my biceps grew a ton when I started doing preacher curls and going all the way out, dead stop, and then going. And it's like, this is the length and this is the hardest part of the movement, right? Like this is way easier. And so I got so much growth out of dead stopping in a stretch position and then going.
I want bigger biceps. I like hardly ever train my biceps, but I need
preachers, man.
Yeah, preachers. I really
anything
like
anything that gets it super, super lengthened.
Yeah. I like the way Havlin does them, where he like uses a bar as almost like a preacher. He like leans over it, It's a cool way
Yeah,
to do it.
those give you a crazy pump. One thing I was thinking about doing, okay, like, skull crushers, like, because if you're doing a skull crusher, it's really easy to kind of like articulate the elbow, right? Well, if you have your elbows pushed up against a bar, like in a bench rack or something, you can like stabilize the elbow, and I can like do this. I think that would be a good way to do like skull crushers at a home gym without needing like special equipment.
You can get like cables and pulleys like for fairly inexpensive that you just like hang from your rack, and then you just hang weight from like a loading pen.
Yeah.
And you can do, like single arm like kickbacks or something like that. And that's like a really good way to get like just a huge stretch on the tricep. Because like free weight tricep exercises, they're always biased to like lockout, right? Like none of them
Yeah.
are like have good stretch.
Yeah, I
At
like
least that I
doing
can think of.
overhead tricep stuff. I feel like you get a really good stretch of that tricep, or like the PGR pullovers. Yeah, and as far as cables go, like with home gyms, I always tell guys like, dude, for like $200 on Marketplace, you can get one of those plate loaded lat pull downs that has a high pulley and a low pulley, and
Yeah.
it's on a it's stabilized. And you can do a million different exercises with that. Because I've tried the ones where it's like the cable hanging from the rack, and it's like always like swinging all over the fucking place.
Yeah, you got to be real like careful with it. Yeah, land it on your feet or something.
Yeah, yeah.
I like speaking of Smith machines, like my favorite pressing accessory is like behind the neck seated Smith machine press.
Dude, I do those every Monday, dude. It's been a game changer.
Yeah, I love those a lot. And I'll like try to get it all the way down. It'll take like 2 sets, but like get it all the way down to the traps. Yeah, I think that's an awesome overhead accessory.
Me too. Big stretch. Yeah, that's actually the only overhead pressing I've been doing for the last few months. Is that, and I think it's grown my delts, my lateral delts quite a bit. So
Yeah.
let me ask you this. I have a question for you. What do you think about like volume and like the number of sets when it comes to hypertrophy?
I've never once thought about it.
Like what would you do if you were doing like bodybuilding accessories trying to grow, say, your delts?
I would probably like wave the volume. Where like maybe I do like 3 week waves where it's like week 1 is 4 sets of this, week 2 is 5 sets of this, week 3 is 6 sets of this, and then just keep the load the same.
Okay, so you're overloading by doing an extra set.
Yep.
Okay. And why would you pick 3 sets versus like 2 sets or 1 set to failure?
I typically wouldn't take it to failure if my main goal was, I mean, I would take a set to failure or very, very close to failure. But I think like if you do like the, Mincer style, like blood and guts, Dorian Yates, like I don't think most people really just like have the mental capacity to like actually make that like a long-term training strategy. And I think if you save a little bit on sets 1 and 2 and 3 or whatever your strategy is going to be, I think racking up more volume is just going to be more beneficial as far as growth goes. Like, could you get like, what do they say? Like set 1 is like 80% of like the stimulus that you're going to get. Set 2 is like 15%. It's like 15% is a fucking shit ton.
Yeah,
Like that's
especially
a
over the
ton.
course of months.
If I can do one more set and get 15 more, if I could be 15 more percent stronger just by doing one more set, like I'm fucking doing 10 more sets. Like you're gonna have to
Yeah.
drag me out of the fucking gym.
Dude, think about if I added 15% more muscle mass, I'd be fucking huge.
You'd be
that's
enormous.
That's 30 pounds, dude.
Exactly. 15% is huge. And that's why like it doesn't make sense to me like the hit cult people who are like, oh, it's like you get everything from the first set and it's like diminishing returns. It's like, yeah, but those diminishing returns fucking add up. Like that fucking matters.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, that's kind of like, you think about like cluster sets. I have a lot of my athletes do cluster sets. So instead of doing, let's say, 1 set of 5 with 80% of our max, we're going to do 5 sets of 2 with 80% of our max.
Yep.
And now we've done 10 reps.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you're going to get more out of that because now you've done 10 total reps.
Yeah, if absolute failure on whatever weight is 8 reps, and you do it twice for 5, you've now done 10 reps with what you could have done 8 reps with. Like, how is that not better? How is that not going to result in more growth? Like, it doesn't make sense how it wouldn't.
Yeah. Yeah. Density training is like that too, right? Like getting more work done in the same amount of time or getting the same amount of work done in less time. And again, that's another version of progressive overload people don't think about, right? Most people are just thinking about adding reps or adding weight, but there's also, you could do it faster. You could do it in less time. You could do more work in the same amount. There's a million different ways to achieve progressive overload. And I think a lot of people never crosses their mind. But a good coach will know when it's the right time to apply that tool, which is again why you should pay us and hire us to train you.
Yeah, and I think like volume it is interesting. I think like certain body parts, certain movement patterns do respond well to volume. And I think frequency has like a really big overlap. Like volume and frequency like overlap quite a bit. Like you can do stuff very far away from failure frequently and get really good at it. Like grip training is a really good example of that. Pull-ups, like what is like what I can't remember what it's called, but like you just put like a pull-up bar like in like one door in your house and just like every time you walk through it, you just do like 5 pull-ups.
Yeah,
Like
that's what we did in Marine Corps boot camp. Every time you went to go to the bathroom, there was a pull-up bar over the bathroom, and you do a set of pull-ups.
like tell me you're not going to get good at doing pull-ups. You do that 20 times a day. Like you are
Yeah,
absolutely going to, and like volume obviously spread across the week is going to be enormous. It's
yeah.
like, yeah, not one set is taken anywhere near failure. But
That's how Easy Strength works. Dan John's Easy Strength program.
exactly.
Dude, you literally do 2 sets of 5 with like 50% of your max, but you do it like pretty much every day. And people hit crazy PRs in that program
Yeah.
because they're just getting more efficient at the movement. And obviously it's volume, but it's also neural efficiency, which is another thing people don't think about. We're so wrapped up in it's only productive if you feel like you're about to fail.
Yeah.
And there's so much more to it than just approaching failure. That's
Yeah.
only one tool.
Like I think volume's important, but I've never once like added up like, okay, we're doing this many sets of this body part across the week. Like that's just not how I like structure training or how I like think about it in my mind. You know, like if there's a lagging body part, I think frequency is like just a much better dial to turn, which like obviously increases the volume. It just spreads the volume out
By
over the
itself,
week.
yeah.
Yeah. But I like using frequency for, you know, bringing up something weak.
Let me ask you a question. Most of your clients, it's honestly very similar demographic to mine. It's like busy dads, full-time jobs. They got families, they got limited time. Okay, let's say that I came to you as a guy who said, hey, man, I realistically can train for 60 minutes, 3 days a week. What would a theoretical, and let's say, okay, my goal is to like, you know, get stronger, get fitter, get faster, a little bit of everything. You know, maybe a little bit more on the strength side and the hypertrophy side. How would you set up that training week for me?
I guess it depends on like, is it 3 days in a row? Is it like 3 days kind of broken up throughout the week? Like
I'd say
rest days
Monday,
in between?
Wednesday, Friday.
Yeah. I actually have guys like that where I have them doing like 3 full body days, which is like a lot of heavy compounds. You know, they kind of get in and get out. They're not like working up to like really heavy sets. They're just kind of like accumulating volume. You know, it's like if they're gonna do like bench and then trap bar deadlifts that day, like they're just doing like 5 sets of 8, you know, and maybe just adding a little bit of weight each set and just like accumulating a bunch of volume on like both of those 2 heavy movements. And then maybe there's like some sort of medley or circuit at the end where like we can get like 3 or 4 accessories done in like a really short amount of time. That's how I like to like get people in and out of the gym very quickly, is like a couple main heavy movements, get a bunch of volume, really good solid work in, and then speed through the rest of it, which is like kind of a circuit.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the supersets, the giant sets. Yeah, and the key there is like antagonistic muscle groups, right? I think a lot of people make the mistake of doing supersets like, oh, I'm going to do a bench press, I'm going to pair it with push-ups. It's like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I superset even my own training, like a bunch of the accessories. Like everything after the main movement, I just like superset every accessory basically. I just like, yeah, I've already been in here for 3 fucking hours squatting. I just need to get this shit done.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's a trade-off between time efficiency with that, and then also like what that's going to do to like your heart rate. Because obviously, if I were to go to something like if I do an exercise that's very taxing and my heart rate's through the roof, then it's going to diminish my performance on the next exercise. But if it's accessory stuff,
Yeah.
it's probably not.
That's kind of my main gripe with CrossFit. It's like, you know,
I talk about that all the time, man.
super technical movements like in a circuit medley. And, you know, if that's in competition, that's what the competition is, right? That's cool.
Sport
Whatever.
specific.
That's the sport. But like, do we need to be doing fucking max effort snatches like with like burpees and jumping over a fucking bench and shit like that? Like, probably not. Like, that's probably
Yeah,
not
and
the
then by
best way to get
definition,
better.
it's not max effort anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And it's actually funny because I was talking to to Anthony about this too. The funny thing is that when Rich Froning came on the scene, he was big, and he was the big hot thing in CrossFit. And he was winning the CrossFit Games. everybody's like, oh man, how's that guy train? Well, most people when they train CrossFit, they do CrossFit Metcons. Well, when Rich Froning was training, he would do his strength work, and then he would go back later and do his conditioning work. Like he would just train normal, right?
Right.
Because
Yeah.
the problem is that if I'm trying to get stronger and I'm also trying to get faster, I'm really going to do neither because I can't lift as much weight because of the cardiovascular fatigue, and then I can't keep my heart rate up because of the localized muscle fatigue. So like it's really an inefficient way to train. And then when it comes to game day, and I deal with this with tactical games all the time, where they're like, I want to do tactical game circuits. It's like, well, when it comes to game day, then it's like, okay, then you just put these things together, and then it's about like pacing and learning the transitions between the movements. But when it comes to the individual training, you train those things individually, right? And then you put them together on game day. You don't, you're limiting yourself severely if that's how you're actually training. That's my
Right.
big gripe with like the whole functional fitness and, oh, this is just like the movement that I do in my sport. It's like, that's not how this works.
Right. Yeah. If you look at all like the high level hybrid athletes or whatever, like the guys who are like 225 running marathons and CrossFit athletes and stuff like that, that's all they periodize their training. Like you have to do it like that. And strongman is very similar too. Like we have a lot of medleys in strongman. I'm not training log supersetted with sandbag carries and farm like nobody trains that way. Yeah, there's like a prep period where it's like, yeah, you do the event specific prep, and a lot of times you're not even touching like maximal weights during those like practices. Like you're just developing the skill of like transitioning from one implement to the other and building like your cardio. You're not like touching anywhere close to like a max effort log press like in the middle of a medley.
Yeah. Very much the same with shooting. There are a lot of people that are like, they want to combine like working out and shooting. Because like, well, in real life, you're going to be under duress when you're shooting. But it's just like, okay, but you're never going to get better at the shooting by putting yourself in that stress, right? Like you have to train in a controlled environment. And let's say that gets your skill level to here. And then when the stress happens, now the skill level comes down to here because of the stress.
Right.
But if you're always training here in this stressed out state, like you're never going to be able to achieve that higher level of skill of shooting. So it doesn't really make sense to like, create that environment other than, like you said, there are some nuances to it, right? Where like maybe there's some things that I think about, but as far as like getting better at shooting, I'm never going to get better at shooting by like doing a fucking 5 mile run and then trying to fucking shoot perfectly.
Right.
Like I'm going to limit my ability to do the shooting portion of the training.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's like a time and a place, like a few weeks out from a competition, like doing the actual event obviously matters. Like especially, I'm sure even in shooting sports, like there's probably an aspect of like, yeah, training, shooting under like the high intensity conditioning at the same time. Like there is like some adaptations that you get from that you wouldn't get if you just went straight into that type of competition, like you would probably fumble, right? Same
Yeah,
thing
because
in-
you just don't know how to handle the stress.
Right, yeah. Same thing in strongman. Like, yeah, you can pick up that sandbag 10 times out of 10 times in training, but like you haven't had to do it when your heart rate's like 180 because you just did like, something else right before it. So,
Yeah. But if I can get my sandbag up to 300 pounds and the competition sandbag is 250, but it's under cardiovascular strain, well, I'll probably be able to do that as long as I've trained my cardio and I've trained my strength.
100%. Yeah.
Yep. And that's funny. Yeah, I almost never have people who are competing in tactical games or anything like that actually do circuits unless it's getting close to game day and we know what the events are.
Yeah. Do they
And
like
plus, you're
release?
increasing your risk for injury.
Do they, seems like that'd be something hard to like set up and train for.
A lot of times it is. A lot of times that is a limiting factor is what you have available as far as the training area goes.
Yeah.
And with tactical games, I don't think that they tell you until it's pretty much game day or close to it because they do them at all these different venues and all the different venues have different terrain and different like limitations to what they can do. So I think
Right.
a lot of it just depends on like where they're holding it at. So the tactical games, there's really no standard events. It's different everywhere, which is different than like High Rocks. I think High Rocks is like the same every time.
Yeah.
I think.
I
I don't know.
it would be, a lot of people don't have access to a place that they can like work out and shoot at the same place.
Exactly.
And I don't know if like a lot of gun ranges would be cool with you like shooting, kind of wildly like that.
Yeah, they wouldn't. And I also, yeah, you look like a fucking idiot. Most places aren't going to be cool with that unless you go out and shoot in the desert. But even still, like you don't need to.
Right. Yeah.
I think it's gimmicky, but it sells. Like I see there are certain coaches out there that they train people for tactical games, and that's all their content is. And it's like, yeah, but that's not how you actually got good at that thing, and
Right.
that's frustrating to see.
Yeah. Yeah, the cool strongman workouts obviously are the ones that like get the clicks and the views and stuff like that. But it's like, yeah, but the 3 sets of 4 on log press that I did, like nobody cares about that. You know,
Yeah, yeah. No one wants to see me sit on the rower for 20 minutes, like you
yeah,
know. So
yeah. What kind of common injuries do you see? You know, nagging pains, stuff like that, and something that may seem complex. I have one specific one in mind, but something that's like typically we do this and it fixes it like 9 out of 10 times.
yeah, well, I have guys come to me with back problems all the time. You know, lower
Yep.
back like L4, L5, S1,
Hmm.
and of course everybody always thinks it's limiting. They're like, well, I can't do what I used to do because of that injury, whatever. And I'm like, just let me fix it. Just watch, trust me. Well, what fixes it a lot of the time is like those QL rotations that I'm super big on,
Hmm.
right? Because a lot of times the QL is weak, and that's what's causing that instability. Okay, no, I can't stuff the jelly back into your disc, but what I can do is strengthen the structures around it. So now that thing is basically irrelevant, and now it's like not as much of a problem. And so my strategy for fixing injuries is, yeah, maybe to an extent doing things to fix it, like if it's a tendon, isometrics, eccentrics. But a lot of the time, it's just like, hey, we just need to like isolate the muscles that are around the problem and just beef it up and put a big old fucking band-aid on it.
I seen a post the other day and it was like if you did a scan on like everybody that went to the gym, like 90% of them would have like a bulge disc,
Hmm.
compressed disc, like deterioration, stuff like that. Like
Yep.
almost everybody that like lifts has those issues. Some
Yep.
people have pain and some people don't.
Yep. That's why the radiology reports always sound way worse than they are.
Hmm.
I've had clients send me the radiology report and it's like bulge here, impingement here, and I'm like, and I look at it, I'm like, this is not a big deal. And they're like, oh my god, look at all these things. It's like this is actually fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've gotten MRI of my back too, and it looked bad on the radiology report.
Hmm.
It's pretty, yeah, pretty much anyone who lifts weights is going to have some kind of disc deterioration.
Yeah.
They're going to tell you, oh, I have degenerative disc disease, I have this, I have that. I'm like, bro, everybody has that.
Yeah.
And yeah, you could have something catastrophic and not feel it, or you could have something tiny and it's a huge deal, and it just depends on your individual anatomy.
Almost everybody that I know in real life that has like back issues are non-lifters or people that sit down all day long or they drive a truck all day long or they have a job where they stand all day like that, but they're just like not active people. They all have like lower back issues.
Yeah, because they have fucking weak lower back and weak glutes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep. How
And
many
that's
people have you trained that they say they can't deadlift because they're back, and like that's actually what ends up fixing their back?
yeah, my go-to is always like, okay, we're going to get your glutes really strong and your abs really strong. And then it's like in 3 months I'm like, hey, how's your back feeling? It's like, oh, I haven't even thought about it in 2 months. Like, it hasn't hurt at all. Like,
Hmm.
oh, it's crazy, like sit-ups fucking fixed your back.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. People
I
don't
really
think
like
about those things.
rotational exercises as well. I just got one of those Nautilus like rotating like ab things.
Oh, nice.
Dude, I love it. It's so cool.
Yeah. Rotation and resisting rotation, I think,
Mhm.
are two big key things that I think a lot of people miss out on.
Yeah, yeah. I put like pal off presses and some sort of rotational exercise in like all my programs. I really like those a lot.
Hmm.
Yeah, I do really love like just like ab activation exercises as well. Like I put abs in the beginning of almost all my programs because everybody fucking skips the abs. So it's like if it's fucking first thing on your list, like you're doing it.
Yeah. It probably also is going to help you brace for your movements better because now that muscle's fired up. That's like the idea of pre exhaust.
Hmm. Exactly.
Like if I have somebody who has a tendency to shoot their ass up in the squat coming out of
Hmm.
the hole, I'll actually have them do leg extensions before they go squat. And now their legs are full of blood, and now they have this like neural connection to their quads, and now their quads are firing better, and their squat looks a million times better.
Yeah.
It's a
Yep.
it's a balance. Like I don't want to fry your quads,
Yeah.
but a lot of times like I'll have guys warm up for deadlift with Bulgarians, and their deadlift looks way better.
Yeah. Yeah. I have guys do like bird dogs and glute bridges and then like the 45-degree Roman's chair, like back extensions or hip
Hmm.
extensions, something like that. And just like as like a primer movement. I
Yeah,
think that works really good. My
yeah.
the common thing that I see a lot in lifters is elbow pain, tendinitis, either golfers or tennis elbow or whatever. And my go-to is the finger extension bands and grip work, just like hammering super high frequency grip work and then like the opposite of grip work, like extension. And like 9 out of 10 times that fixes it.
Yeah, I haven't tried those finger extenders. That's good. I'm gonna have to start working that into people that have those problems, especially a lot of the jiu-jitsu guys.
Yeah, well, especially like grapplers and stuff like that, like everybody gets really, really strong like this, right? If you're deadlifting, like rowing, pull-ups, whatever, like everybody gets really strong curling their wrists, obviously, and then crushing strength too from holding onto a bar. Grapplers from like grabbing on gi and stuff like that. But everybody's like super imbalanced with like these muscles here. Like their extension is super super weak. And that's a lot of times what the issue is. Like why they always have like the nagging elbow pain.
Interesting.
Because like the other thing you could do is like reverse wrist extensions.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like those too, but you can't put those in your pocket and do them 10 times a day.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
like
So when you have somebody do the extensions, is it something where you're going to hit it a couple times a day?
like 10 times a day. Yeah.
Oh, no shit. Really?
Yeah. I just
Like how many like reps?
as many as you can do. Yeah. It's like a really pretty light rubber band. And, there's like different levels of thickness. And so it like starts with white and then green and then blue, whatever. I put a green one in my pocket and I'll just get it out like every hour, every other hour. And I'll just like go to failure on both sides. And you're doing like 50, 60, 70 reps. You're not like breaking muscle tissue down. You're just like forcing a retarded amount of blood kind of like into the forearms and muscle, elbow area. And, when you're forcing all that blood in there, obviously like you're pushing nutrients in, flushing toxins out, getting like kind of the inflammation out and stuff like that. And just like that super high frequency. Also like grip is so like tendon dominant. Like it's not as much muscular as like a lot of other movements are. Like grip is so tendon that like high frequency works really, really well because tendons don't get a ton of blood, but you can get them more blood by just doing them super, super frequently.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So they respond really, really well. So you can fix it really quickly by just doing it like every single day, often, very, very frequently.
Is there a certain brand of those finger extenders that you use? Because I've never looked into it.
Yeah, I use the Iron Mind ones. Iron Mind is the one that also they make like the gold standard of grippers, the Captains of
Okay.
Crush.
Yeah, I have one of those.
Okay, so they also make the finger extensors, whatever. There's a ton of brands on Amazon that have like little loops that your like fingers actually go inside, and those are okay, but they're just like a pain to get on and off. I like just having the band, so I can just throw it on and just rep them out real quick.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm gonna have to check that out. That's a good idea. Because
Yeah.
I get golfer's elbow from jujitsu, from just grabbing all the time from gripping.
Yeah, yeah. I used to have issues from so much like axle bar work, like actual overhead press and actual curls and stuff like that. I used to fucking light my elbows up, and a lot of tricep exercises used to destroy my fucking elbows. Skull crushers, anything like that would just light my elbows up. It would like just be like that burning, nagging pain for like weeks. I started doing these like probably a year and a half ago, and never had elbow pain.
Damn, I'm sold. I'm gonna go buy a pair after this call. You
Yeah.
just buy like what would I buy? Like this, like the easiest one?
It
Or
just
just
comes
like
in
a pack of them?
It just comes in a pack. There's like two of each, and I think it's $15.
Nice.
Yeah,
Dude, hell yeah. That's good. Isn't it funny how you can like market a simple like rubber band as like something else and then charge
Yeah.
10 times more for it?
I was trying to like find like, okay, what size rubber band is this? I could just buy like a fucking pack of 100 of them,
Yeah.
and I don't know, I can't find it, but
Those nose strips. So
Yeah.
there's a brand, Intake brand, and it's like the plastic nose strip, and they have like the little magnetic. It's like sticky on one side, magnetic on the other side.
Yeah.
Well, a 30-day supply is like $30, but if you go on Alibaba, you can buy like 500 of the fucking little nose, and it's the exact same one. It just doesn't have the Intake brand branding on it.
Yeah.
And you can buy like 500 of them for like $10.
Yeah.
That's why so I just did that. It's the same fucking thing.
yeah, I was looking for like because I really like the green level band, like the thickness of the green one, because I can do like 50, 60 reps. They have really thick ones that I can do like two, like fucking 1 rep max, my extensors. And I don't really like doing that. Like it doesn't seem valuable to me.
Yeah.
But I was looking for these bands, and I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to like message Iron Mind. So I sent them an email. I was like, hey, I just want like a pack of this specific size. And also like at the same time, like I'm cool supporting like a company that like puts out good stuff. It's like, could I probably find a rubber band that like I could buy a pack of 100 for $3? Probably. It's like, but I'm cool supporting Iron Mind. I think that's cool.
Yeah, I agree with that. I definitely sometimes I'm willing to pay more for something if it's like a brand that I align with or a brand that I trust.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yep. Right on, man. Cool. Well, dude, I really appreciate you coming on, man. Always love our conversations, dude. It seems like we have like one or two topics and then we just kind of like flow from there.
Yeah.
Always goes really good. So Yeah, sick, man. I'll get this edited, posted up, and put on YouTube, put on Spotify, and we'll have to do this again soon.
Awesome, man. Sounds good.
Right on,
Appreciate you.
dude. Thanks for coming on. Talk to you later.
Yeah, man.